Hi everyone, and welcome back as I continue my review of selected episodes of Blake 7 as I continue with Season 3. Ultraworld. It's another weird one. So, the crew of the Liberator have come across something very bizarre. An artificial world. And boy, it is bizarre. So, with caution, let's say, they decide to take a look at it, but not go any further than that because it's freaking them out, you could say. Meanwhile, Villa is not freaked out because Villa is telling knock-knock jokes and rhymes and riddles to Aurak for some strange, peculiar reason. But the first person to pick up on this mysterious world known as Ultraworld is Callie. And for unknown reasons, she actually teleports down to Ultraworld. Of course, with Callie going missing, this alerts the rest of the crew to the situation, and they get a weak signal, and they assume it's from Callie pleading for help. But unknown to the crew of the Liberator, this is nothing but a ruse, whoever it is, down there, because they are trying to bait them in to coming down to Ultraworld, and that is exactly what happens. Avon, Dana, and Tarrant teleport down, and Avon makes some discoveries that this is in fact an artificial world based on Germanic computers and so forth. And eventually they come face to face with the Ultrons, who serve the core. And they have a bit of a sit down with the Ultrons, and they start asking a number of questions. Also, on their list of questions, where is Callie? The Ultrons seem to be quite nice. They're saying that Callie has mental problems in her mind and she's in a sleep chamber which will help cure her. And Avon, Dana, and Tarrant visit Callie, and they assume that everything seems to be okay. The Ultrons seem to be telling the truth. But Tarrant has other ideas, and he decides to have a good snoop around, because Tarrant is not convinced about this. He doesn't trust the Ultrons, and Tarrant starts making discoveries. Things like memory tubes, which alarms him. Avon also makes the discovery that Callie doesn't have her bracelet on her, and unfortunately for Avon, he is overpowered. Tarrant and Dana together are being manipulated by the Ultrons, and they're making various discoveries about the place, and they don't like what they're seeing. Not one bit, which is not surprising, because something sinister is going on. And one of the Ultrons tells Avon that you will be duly processed. Avon tries to resist, but for how long? Dana and Tarrant have finally figured out what's going on. And what's going on is that people are taken, their memories are wiped and stored in memory tubes, and the husks either become minions to the Ultrons, or they are fed to the core, a living brain. Not very pleasant. And they're still being chased around by the Ultrons, carefully manipulating Tarrant and Dana. Tarrant gives them a brief slip. They go into a cold storage and they discover Callie. And eventually they are overpowered by the minions of the Ultrons. And the Ultrons put this silly idea to them. They want to witness the bonding process, and so they go along with it because Dana is an expert in explosives, you could say. Not for the first time in this episode, using explosive. They both escape. They both come across Avon and Callie, and they retrieve their bodies and they take them back down to the processing sleep center. Meanwhile, the Ultrons are way too focused on capturing the Liberator, and that's exactly what happens. The Liberator is brought on board Ultraworld. But things start happening. The core is reacting to something, and it's causing disruption. And the Ultrons have to initiate safeguard measures to protect the core. So while they are doing that, Tarrant sneaks up behind them. He spots 2 memory tubes. He assumes they are Avon and Callie, which is correct. He takes them back down to the sleep bay and, hopefully in the right order, puts Callie and Avon's memories back into their bodies. And yes, that's exactly what happens, and they get it in the right order. Tarrant has also noticed that the Liberator has been captured and it's inside Ultraworld. And while this is going on, the whole place is going to rack and ruin, you could say, because the core is having an overload. It's exploding, it's tearing itself apart. And when Avon and Callie come round, more clear-minded, Avon points out, we can't teleport off. And Tarrant says, we don't need to. The Liberator's here on Ultraworld. We just got to get back on board. And that's exactly what happens. They manage to get back on board the Liberator. The Liberator breaks free of its restraints as Ultraworld really goes into self-destruct mode, you could say. And that's exactly what happens. It goes into self-destruct mode. And they all escape. Very fortunate for them. And as Ultraworld goes up, we witness one of the Ultrons starts to fall apart. And it's all revealed at the end that Villa was the hero, as explained by Aurak. And Avon basically says, oh, I see. Villa spouted all this nonsense. Aurak fed all this nonsense into the core. The core couldn't understand it because the core relied on logic. And on that note, my final thoughts. Right, my final thoughts on Ultraworld. Well, another episode where we spend a bit of time away from the Federation. That's good, because it does give us a bit of a breather from the shenanigans of the Federation. And yeah, it's another strange episode, Ultraworld. It's a very straightforward storyline, you could say. From A to Z, it's straightforward. No doubt about it. I remember seeing a part of a documentary on this particular one, that the Ultraworld was filmed at the London Underground, and was it the makeup artist also making a comment, about the Ultron at the end of the episode whose face starts crumbling away, that she was pleased by that special effect. And I agree, that's quite a good special effect for the time. It really worked well. And I also agree with the comment about the third Ultron who refused to shave his head bald. I agree. He does look a bit out of place to the other two Ultrons. Yeah, apart from that, yeah, Ultra was a very good episode. It's a fun episode in many ways. It's straightforward. I love the bit where obviously Tarrant and Dana are saying, "Oh, I hope we got Avon and Callie's memories in the right bodies." Nice little touch. Overall, yeah, it's a good episode, Ultraworld. I enjoyed it, and yeah, and there's nothing more I can really say on that. So, to wrap things up, as usual, have a great day, everyone. I'll see you in due course on my next one. Okay, goodbye.